Beyonce has absolutely lost the plot after Diddy allegedly leaked footage of his freak-offs. And if you've been following this channel, you'll know Diddy is notorious for recording everyone at his parties.
Stevie J speaking on it right now. He'll be one of the first dudes that they'll probably pull to the side and say, yo, well, you say that your man, I heard you on TMZ say that he never did this and he never did that, but ain't this you? If those pictures or those films or anything like that exists, you know what I'm saying? That's what they pay those agents to do. So, of course, I don't believe that none of the people who are his celebrity friends is going to speak or say nothing until they're either contacted or they know what they really got.
So you feel like they might be worried that they might be on tape at one of Diddy parties doing something they wasn't supposed to be doing?
Rob said in this affidavit that Diddy had every room taped and bugged. Diddy had, yo, bro, can you imagine? He had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs and little tape recorders. I mean, little those micro projectors or whatever like that, or video cameras. They found them in the house, bro. So by them having those things in the house, and people know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, there's loose men, woman on woman, man on man, all kind of crazy shit. Bruh, they just wondering who or when they're gonna let this stuff be known. But not only celebrities, I don't think it's only celebrities gonna be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there. Hallelujah. That's crazy.
You personally, you think they got tapes?
Well, my personal opinion that if Lil Rob could be trusted and his statements are true, they got him. They got tapes of stuff.
And there are a lot of shocking secrets coming to light now, especially about Diddy's connection to the FBI. Gene Deal recently claimed that even Diddy's drug mule was a confidential informant.
What you think about Diddy drug mule taking a plea deal?
Well, what I believe and what I think, he wasn't just a drug mule, he was a plant. He's a CI. That's a confidential informant. He already had a case prior to him getting that case with Diddy and them. He probably already had a handler of somebody that he was just trying to work it out, and that's what he did.
You think he told him any information about Diddy?
Yeah, he got to. They're not gonna give you a deal for nothing. Cause you got caught with the drugs? Cause you say they was for Diddy and them? You gotta give us something.
And you think they're using all that information to indict Diddy?
Oh, no doubt. They taking their time, bro. They working on this and they taking their time.
How you feel about the people that feel like, at this point, Diddy, his name is tarnished to the point that, his own kids, they can't benefit from his name?
I think because because Diddy built this whole aura that he was about family, his kids, and he was trying to make them great. He was trying to put them in certain positions and stuff like that. I believe that it's gonna hurt.
Now, Beyonce being targeted means that everything the Carters built is slowly unraveling.
About them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate. And part of the reason why they have or they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it, and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. Yeah, I might have to ask Jason Lee. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce divorce him. Okay? And she may or may not do an interview, but you're gonna their publicist is gonna release something. She's gonna say, oh, the Carters have been separated for some time. They built this beautiful life, blah 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 blah. She was ready to leave him years ago, but the industry it's different. And I don't want to say it's an Illuminati contract, because I don't know how the Illuminati get down. I really don't know. And I'm not gonna lie to you and say I do. But essentially she's been stuck, right? But I believe this is going to be her chance to get out. And according to what I heard, if certain things that I can't even speak on come out, she gone. She's going to protect her image. All right. And this, I don't know what would be the bigger divorce, Will and Jada or Beyonce and Jay-Z. But just know everybody's going to be talking about it. TMZ's going to talk about it first. And we're going to be talking about it probably for 6 months. But I'm letting y'all know, it is not all roses and fairies in the Carter household. Beyonce has also dealt with a lot of mental health issues, a lot of depression, allegedly alcoholism, allegedly. And I said that real low. If you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you didn't. Allegedly. But nonetheless, yeah, we're seeing the decline of this marriage / relationship. And when his tea come out, I really want to know how they gonna navigate this. Look at her during the Fantasia performance. She looked weird and skinny. Where you get all, I can't tell you where I get all the spicy tea. Allegedly. And let me say this too, between the stress, the money, the spiritual work, it's a lot going on. Like, say it without saying it. Why was she doesn't care anymore. She didn't even want to come. He dragged her there. Okay. He dragged her there. She didn't want to come. That's all I can say to you. She didn't want to come. She didn't want to be there. Let me ask you something. Do you want to go to an event with the man that you're separated from? Ooh. That's another story for another day. Do you want to do an event with your husband that you're separated from? Do you want to even go to a brunch with a man that you separated from?
Diddy also recently had to deal with being a victim of leaked footage himself, as video evidence of him assaulting Cassie surfaced. He then had to apologize for all of it. Gene Deal also went on to explain what Diddy could do now that it seems like his life is pretty much over.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. He wasn't even with her, and he was still following her every move, man. But yeah, man, I can't believe it, man. I'm still in disbelief by that video, man. Yeah, it ain't looking good for Diddy, man.
Oh.
Yeah, it might be over, man.
You can stick a fork in him. He's done. No Diddy, but you can stick a fork in him. He's done. There's no way that he could ever come back from this. He has to find a way to pay his penances with God. Do some charity work for domestic. I'm helping him out. You understand? Get rid of all these elusive preachers and everything, these TD Jakes and all that other bull crap. Get down with that down-home religion. Go and support some women groups from domestic violence. Support and do some charity work for women in battered shelters. And spend your life and your time helping men like yourself. Once you take care of your business and get on your knees and beg for Ms. Wallace's forgiveness for putting the notorious Big in that situation that he lost his life.
The hotel security footage elicited horrifying reactions across the world. Forced to admit his behavior, Combs made a rare admission of guilt, albeit only for one incident. "I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom and I make no excuses. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted." He stated that he went to treatment and rehab and was truly sorry. Ventura's lawyers claimed Combs' apology revealed his pathetic desperation. Many people were taken aback when they saw footage of the assault, including many who had known Combs for years. Former Arista and Bad Boy publicity director LaJoyce Brookshire was upset to learn that these types of actions could have occurred and that Puffy could stand in my face the next day with a straight face. That shakes me to my core. Several women who attended Howard with Combs, however, had noticed indicators of a controlling and violent nature decades before. Combs began attending the prestigious college in the fall of 1987 and rapidly established a reputation for hosting legendary wild parties. Flamboyant and noisy, he was frequently spotted driving his convertible around campus and handing out flyers. Though he left after his sophomore year, Combs used Howard as a conduit for his ventures, collaborating with future label executives and producers Harve Pierre, Mark Pitts, and Derek D. Angeletti, all of whom played important roles in Bad Boy's early success. Shantae Page, a former A&R executive for Universal Motown Record Group, was among many who said they had favorable experiences with Combs at Howard, describing his iconic events as once-in-a-lifetime type of vibe. He was a go-getter from the start, she claims, and always in the know. However, several women recalled previously undisclosed experiences of unwanted touching and fury. One lady claims she stayed as far away as possible after Combs caressed her back without notice and asked if she would want to meet one of his pals. Another former student claimed Combs flew off the handle after she protested to him cutting a cafeteria line. While the moments may appear little, they revealed sparks of danger that would eventually detonate. A third former student describes how the future mogul would tap on the window of an English lesson to entice a girlfriend to leave. The classmates tell Rolling Stone that the visits grew obviously unpleasant. "She would tense up when Combs appeared," the student who sat next to the woman in class remembers. "He just had a weird control thing. I felt like she was fearful." The student, who asked to remain anonymous for fear of retaliation, claims her suspicions were confirmed when Combs came outside the school's Harriet Tubman Quadrangle residence and began screaming in a belligerent manner for his girlfriend to come outside. According to a classmate, more women quickly began running around the halls, knocking on doors in a panic. They were screaming the alarm because Combs, also known as Puff, was hitting the young woman outside, she recalls. "Puff is out here acting crazy. He's beating her," the fellow student said, according to the classmate. "He screamed and hollered and acted a stone fool until she came downstairs," says another Howard student who observed the alleged incident to Rolling Stone. She claims Combs used what seemed to be a belt to strike the young woman all over the place. Speaking on the condition of anonymity owing to the sensitivity of the situation, the witness stated that Combs was super angry and was screaming at the top of his lungs. She claims that he whooped her butt, like really whooped her butt. The witness stated that the woman was plainly terrified. She was trying to defend herself a little bit. She was crying, and we were telling him, "Get off of her." We were screaming for her. A third source described the alleged assault to Rolling Stone. The woman at the center of the alleged attack declined to comment. Diddy was born with a short fuse, telling Jet magazine that he gained his moniker as a child because he would always huff and puff when he was angry. "I had a temper. That's why my friends started calling me Puffy," he explained. His mother, Janice, a former kindergarten teacher, referred to him as Ham. Combs scarcely knew his father, Melvin, a gorgeous heroin dealer working for a Harlem kingpin who was assassinated in 1972 at the age of 33, when Combs was a child. Combs mourned the loss of a father figure over the years, but Melvin had a tremendous impact on him. "Even if we don't know our parents, we still have their DNA in us. We have their genes," Combs has stated. "I have his hustler's mentality, his hustler's spirit, his drive, his determination, his swag." When Janice relocated the family from Harlem to Mount Vernon, a community 12 miles north, Combs found himself caught between two cultures. In one, he played defensive back on the football team at his all-boys Catholic high school. In the other, he took the train to the city and immersed himself in its thriving hip-hop scene. "I didn't know exactly what he would do, but he was blasting me out of the house with his mixing kit I bought him when he was 13, making that noise, scratching those records," Janice told Vibe in the year 1993. Combs craved more of the superstar lifestyle after experiencing it at Howard. He was determined to break into the music industry, so he attended college while also doing a part-time internship at Uptown Records in New York City. According to former Uptown A and R VP Kurt Woodley, Heavy D, an Uptown musician and Mount Vernon neighbor, brokered the job interview after Combs relentlessly badgered the rapper at their local pizza place. Combs commuted from Howard to his job, avoiding paying the train fare by hiding in the lavatory. He left out of school to work full-time for Uptown, eventually becoming CEO Andre Harrell's mentor. Combs' rise to fame at Uptown Records is legendary. He played a crucial role in helping artists like Mary J. Blige and Jodeci achieve multi-platinum success by reshaping their images. He redefined the remix, introduced hip-hop soul to the world, and hosted the exclusive Daddy's House parties at the now-closed Manhattan hip-hop club Red Zone, which even his senior colleagues at Uptown eagerly attended. Dan Charnas, author of The Big Payback, The History of the Business of Hip-Hop, told Rolling Stone, he had the ability to convince people that whatever he was doing, or wherever he was, that was the hot shit. He understood more than anyone how the innovations of hip-hop, specifically sampling and using classic rap records as a basis for R&B songs, would be really powerful for a generation. However, as Combs' fame grew at Uptown, darker aspects of his behavior came to light. According to a sexual assault lawsuit filed by Joy Dickerson Neal last November, Combs' predatory tendencies resurfaced. Dickerson Neal, who acted alongside Combs in a 1990 music video, recalled a warning from Bronx rapper Sister Soulja to stay away from him due to his notorious reputation. Dickerson Neal alleges that in January 1991, while she was a college student working at a restaurant, she reluctantly agreed to a dinner date with Combs at her workplace. She claims Combs spiked her drink when she stepped away and later pressured her into smoking a blunt. Shortly after, she says her legs became rubbery, and Combs raped her at a nearby residence, filming the assault and showing the video to others as a trophy. Combs has denied these allegations through a representative, calling the story made up and not credible. His lawyers have moved to dismiss parts of the lawsuit, labeling the accusations false, offensive, and salacious. Mike Nice Lewis, who worked with Dickerson Neal at PMD Records in the early 1990s, told Rolling Stone that she confided in him about the alleged assault. Lewis recalls that Dickerson Neal's demeanor changed drastically when Combs and Bad Boy were mentioned, and she told him about a very bad sexual experience with Combs. Lewis believes her account, noting that it still affected her years later. Michelle Kiola, attorney for Dickerson Neal and another accuser, Crystal McKinney, emphasized the severe impact on her clients' mental health and professional lives. Within hours of Dickerson Neal filing her complaint, another woman, Liza Gardner, also sued Combs for rape. Gardner alleges that in 1990, at age 16, she and a friend met Combs and Uptown singer-songwriter Aaron Hall at an MCA Records event in Manhattan. She claims the men were flirtatious, gave them drinks, and invited them to Hall's home for an after-party. Gardner alleges Combs offered her more alcohol and then raped her despite her protests. While she was still in shock and trying to get dressed, Hall allegedly entered the room and raped her as well. Gardner also claims that Combs, fearing she would reveal the incident to his girlfriend, later choked her until she nearly passed out. Combs' legal team has denied Liza Gardner's allegations, calling them a money grab. However, another woman, who says she was with Gardner the night of the alleged attack, corroborated many details in a sworn affidavit filed in mid-May. This woman, the younger sister of the friend mentioned in Gardner's complaint, provided a photo of herself with Gardner and Hall from that evening. She recalled frantically searching Hall's apartment for her sister and Gardner after they disappeared with Combs and Hall. The then 15-year-old described walking into a room and seeing a man watching whatever Puffy was doing to Liza. She also stated that she woke up the next morning at a different location where an upset Gardner told her that Combs had just shown up and choked her. Hall did not respond to a request for comment. Back at the Uptown office, Combs' growing ego, strong opinions, and scheming behavior were causing issues among his peers. His behavior went from being internally divisive to openly controversial in December 1991, when a celebrity charity basketball game he and Heavy D organized at City College of New York resulted in a tragic stampede, leaving 9 people dead and dozens injured. Combs tried to deflect responsibility, claiming he had sought help from the NYPD and had personally administered CPR to several victims. However, a report ordered by then-Mayor David Dinkins blamed him for allowing inexperienced staff to handle the event planning and found that reckless over-promotion had drawn too many people without tickets to the event. With the city investigating possible criminal charges, lawsuits mounting, and rivals pressuring Uptown's head, Andre Harrell, to cut ties with Combs, Harrell urged him to lay low. Terrified, Combs spent months hiding out in a Manhattan hotel with his mother, according to Kirk Burrows, Bad Boy's co-founder and president. Burrows was fired from Bad Boy in 1997 and later sued Combs in 2003, claiming Combs had threatened him with a baseball bat and coerced him into signing over his stake in the company. These claims were dismissed due to the statute of limitations. After the controversy died down, Combs returned to Uptown, still seeing himself as Harrell's successor. However, his access to Harrell was now limited. He spent much of 1992 producing Mary J. Blige's acclaimed debut album, What's the 411, which helped him regain some standing. Around this time, he founded his own Uptown imprint, Bad Boy Entertainment, allowing him to sign his own artists and earn extra income. Burrows recalls jealous Uptown executives referring to Combs as Satan and giving him the finger as they passed his small office in the Uptown building. Even Harrell's attitude towards him soured. Woodley recalls Harrell saying, "I'm gonna fire Puff. He's getting a little too big for himself. He's bothering people." Under mounting pressure, Harrell fired Combs in July 1993. Although Uptown was supposed to oversee the release of Combs' new signee, Christopher Wallace, aka the Notorious Big, Combs was now free to find a new home for his fledgling label. The termination was devastating for Combs. Burrows describes him as crying buckets of tears outside the office, saying, "He loved Andre, he loved Uptown, he didn't understand what Bad Boy was going to be. I cried for a couple days and felt like I wanted to jump off a building," Combs told Rolling Stone in 1995. "I think at times I was hard to work with. Possibly I was doing things that an asshole would do, just abusing the power, but that was only a little bit of the time." After being cast out of Uptown Records and blamed for a tragedy that claimed 9 lives, Combs could have easily faded into obscurity. But he was determined and resourceful, quickly securing a reported $10 million deal from Arista Records' Clive Davis to keep Bad Boy Entertainment alive. With a lean team eager to turn artists into superstars and cement hip-hop as a mainstream genre, Combs pushed forward. While the world did not understand the power of hip-hop, I was working in it and watching it unfold, says Michelle Joyce, Bad Boy's first director of marketing, who co-created the Women Behind the Mic Book series with Brookshire. I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that it wasn't if it was going to pop. It was when. It wasn't easy. The hours were grueling, the pay was low, and the workload was intense. But their hard work paid off. Just 1 year after Combs' dismissal from Uptown, they celebrated the success of Craig Mack's Flava in Ya Ear and the Notorious B.I.G.'s One More Chance. Over the next 3 years, Bad Boy would become the premier label for hip-hop and R&B, producing chart-topping albums from Faith Evans, Total, and 112, and dominating clubs and radio stations nationwide. And with Biggie Smalls, the label had a rising superstar, known for his storytelling prowess and effortless flow. Despite these successes, Combs' volatile behavior remained an issue. Burroughs recalls an incident in 1994 where he saw Combs attack a woman in the Bad Boy office. He and another ex-employee had to intervene after hearing screams and the sound of shattering glass. The woman declined to comment to Rolling Stone. Felicia Newsom, the first manager of Bad Boy's recording studio, Daddy's House, also recalls holding Combs back when he was about to beat this girl's ass after a fight broke out between 2 women. I'm holding him by his waist saying, "You need to calm down. This is not your fight," Newsom remembers. Former Arista intern April Lampros also alleges that Combs turned violent with her. In a lawsuit filed in May, Lampros claims that Combs attacked her in a parking garage in the mid-1990s, forcing her to perform oral sex. This was one of 4 horrific sexual assaults she says she endured during her on-off relationship with Combs. As Bad Boy rose to prominence, staffers kept Combs' transgressions quiet, whether out of loyalty, fear, or the belief that such incidents were rare. Outwardly, he was the label's relentless hype man, making cameos in his artists' videos and ad-libbing on tracks. He clearly had bigger ambitions. I distinctly remember the day that Clive Davis called and asked me to start garnering press for Puffy just as if he were the artist, says Brookshire. Behind his back, I used to call him my problem child, the notorious VIP. Combs got the media attention he craved when he became embroiled in a high-profile feud with Death Row Records boss, Marion Suge Knight. Although Combs had once admired and even modeled Bad Boy after Death Row, the rivalry between Biggie and Knight's superstar Tupac Shakur escalated into a fierce East Coast-West Coast battle. Combs had respected Shakur's ability to combine street credibility with mainstream appeal. The Bad Boy team even studied Shakur's hit I Get Around as a blueprint for commercial hip-hop. Combs tried to foster a friendship, but Shakur wasn't interested. Pac didn't have any kind of respect for Puff, says 90s hip-hop photographer Monique Bunn. To Shakur and even Wallace, Combs was seen as a corny executive. Shakur bonded with Wallace, seeing him as a peer, which reportedly made Combs jealous. The friendship was short-lived. After Shakur was ambushed and shot 5 times in the lobby of Quad Studios in Times Square in 1994, he blamed Combs and the Bad Boy crew for setting him up, a charge Combs has always denied. This incident escalated tensions, with Combs releasing Wallace's single Who Shot Ya in 1995, which was widely viewed as a provocation aimed at Shakur. Shakur retaliated with the fierce Hit 'em Up, further inflaming the rivalry. Combs seemed to exploit the East Coast-West Coast feud for publicity. The 2 label heads exchanged barbs, with Knight portrayed as the intimidating gang-affiliated boss and Combs as the slick, clean-cut executive. When Tupac Shakur was murdered in September 1996 in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas, Knight immediately accused Combs, who denied any involvement. Some Bad Boy employees received death threats in the aftermath. I didn't recall reading in the employee manual that dodging bullets was a part of my job description, says Brookshire. Last September, Compton Crips gang member Dwayne Keith "Keffy D. Davis was charged with Shakur's murder. His trial is set to begin in November. Davis has claimed Combs offered $1 million for a hit on Shakur, a claim Combs vehemently denies. 6 months after Shakur's death, in March 1997, Wallace, then 24, was killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles. Police consider the homicide an unsolved act of retaliation. Reports suggest Wallace had been planning to leave Bad Boy shortly before his death, and tensions were high between Combs and Wallace's attorneys over publishing rights. "I will never give it up until I'm dead and my bones are crushed into powder," Combs reportedly told the lawyers. "Biggie was absolutely about to leave Puff," Bunn says. "I know for a fact because he told me that." Another source adds, "Everybody wanted to leave Puffy. Everybody leaves him. What happens now? Let us know in the comments."